Right, I'm going to count from 10 to 0, and I wonder if we can all be in a circle before I get to 0. Shall we count? 10, 9, 8, 7. We're going to be doing lots of thinking. We're going to be doing lots of listening and talking and sharing our ideas and seeing what each other thinks about things that happen. Philosophy for Children is a method of getting children's voices out into the open, of getting them to share their ideas with each other, of building communities of inquiry. Philosophy is very much a way of teaching. It's not just a lesson. Philosophy for Children is an attitude and an approach towards learning and teaching, both for the children and for the teacher themselves. Thank you for waiting. Now that was funny, wasn't it? There were two people talking at once then. It's about setting up very much from the beginning an ethos in your classroom of respect and of equality and democratic agreement, so that everything that they do with each other, in their friendships, in their social circles, in school and out in the wider community, that they are able to voice their opinions with an idea that it's going to be respected, that they can be critical of their own thinking, critical of thinking of others, but in doing so, create a kind of reasonable reasoning. When we do our talking, we're going to only use our voices. We're going to share. I loved what you said there. We're going to share our voices, aren't we? But not all at once. One person at a time. So if somebody else is talking, what will we do?
You must keep quiet.
Yeah. So that we can do something.
What do you hear?
Yeah, we can listen to their words. I think all children have a desire to be listened to. They have a desire to share their voices. What I'm doing now is we're just going to practice something we're going to do tomorrow. Sitting on our bottoms in the circle. Can you show me again? And I have to spend the first few weeks working with our children about what it is to share, what it is to use kind words to each other, to model and facilitate how we engage with each other, and to allow the children to be accountable for their actions and to be responsible for their actions within a group setting as well. I wonder, has anybody seen this book before? This is called Where the Wild Things Are. It was through studying children and literature that I came to this way of working with picture books.
And it's dark.
And it's dark,
And the room
right?
is getting full.
And the room is getting full. Do you know what it's getting full of?
Trees.
Trees.
And I look at the bulb.
And that night, in Max's room, a forest grew.
Oh.
You were right, trees. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. Do you know what a rumpus is?
Yeah.
Shall we have a go? Would you like to stand up and join in the rumpus? Oh, come on then. Let's have a rumpus. So what do you think they're doing here?
They're climbing.
Climbing. Shall we climb? Come on then. When we did thinking time at Burning Bush, we sent the children to the tables in small groups. And we gave them pokies and they started to draw their ideas. Now what was interesting about that was the instant dialogue that was happening. And when an adult was engaging with them, say, what are you thinking about? What ideas, what are you drawing? What do they represent? The children had automatically started to relate their own lives to what had been in the Wild Things book. So most of them were drawing ideas beyond the book about mothers and about bad behaviour, and also about dreams, and they were very fascinated with the idea of dreams. What are you drawing?
I'm a mummy.
You're going to draw a mummy, and whose mummy is it?
My mummy.
Your mummy. And is your mummy like Max's mummy?
Number 5. Number 5.
Why is your mummy like Max's mummy?
Sometimes my mummy is scared of dinosaurs.
Oh, your mummy's scared of dinosaurs. Do you think dinosaurs? And when we came back to the inquiry afterwards, what they struggled with then was actually how do we make those ideas into questions. Today we're going to talk with our voice and our questions and our ideas, and we're going to put them in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to ask, is there anybody who thought of a question in their group?
I had.
You had? Who were you going to ask a question to?
To Max.
To Max, what would you like to ask Max?
To be friends.
Okay, so you want Max to be friends,
Yeah.
but we want to ask him a question. So one of the big things that we had to work with and that I modelled with these children was, although they had this amazing engagement with the story and they knew how to talk about the story and make it abstract, what they couldn't then do was make questions from it. And that's a really skillful thing to do. So do you think Max has any friends?
No.
Shall we ask him that?
Yes.
Okay. So how would we say that to Max? As a question. Have you, maybe we could say to Max, oh, what are you doing? You need to sit back because our talking space has got to stay there without any...
Can you be friends with me?
Max, can you be friends with me? So we hot-seated, which meant that I went into role as Max and all the wild things. Can you think of another question you want to ask me? Because I'm Max and Mummy. What else do you want to ask me about what happens in this book? And the children asked the questions directly to me. And it began to sink in that, yes, these are the questions about the things they had been talking about. And we had to structure and model that. That is something that we focus very much on in inquiry with children, is those statements are really useful, but how do we open those up so that everybody can offer their ideas about whether they agree or disagree and build on those ideas to develop the conceptual themes within that story and their ideas and questions. Shall we ask Max why he was chasing that dog?
He's angry.
Oh, because you've already got, that's a good question to ask because you've already got some ideas, Logan. So some people think he's angry and some people think something different.
Right. You stick.
Wants to stick him. So we've got 3 questions there, haven't we? Can you read our questions back to us?
I've got 5. So Max, could you be friends with me? You remember that was your question? Is Max's mummy sad?
Yeah.
Why do the monsters go to sleep?
Because he stopped.
Listening first.
And how do the monsters talk?
Oh,
That's an interesting question as well. And why did Max chase the dog? And someone thought he might be angry. Was he angry?
I think what's important is that we speak the child's language, whether it is a different language, but it's about the other ways of picking up their cues, the ways that they can communicate through drawing, through artwork, through their play, through their actions, through all those other cues that teachers pick up about children's communication. And that sometimes words are not a barrier to thinking and to ideas because they can draw them and communicate them in different ways, certainly through play, which is why a lot of the work I do is about teachers stopping the telling and starting the listening, so that the teachers start to watch and observe and record what is happening in the children's languages. When they're playing outside, when they're role-playing, when they're telling stories, when they're engaging with other adults, in whatever language that is, the teachers need to listen. And when they're listening, they will find those concepts that are happening all the time in philosophy about fairness and about justice and about power in a classroom and about right and wrong and good and bad and all of those things where you can start to explore with children. You're dreaming. Perhaps we're dreaming now. Are we dreaming now?
I did dream about the princess.
Did you dream? I'm dreaming that I'm in Africa. And I'm dreaming that I'm in a creche with lots of children and we're talking about dreaming.
I'm dreaming.
Are you dreaming that dream?
Yeah.
This is part of a child's nature to be exploring the big issues in life, but they just haven't been shown what it is. They don't know it as philosophy. Okay, in this place. But what happened is that when we work in this way, everything we do starts with inquiry. So as a teacher doing P4C, I don't think of myself as doing P4C. I think of myself as running a classroom based on inquiry approached learning. Do teachers know everything?
Yes. I do teachers.
Oh, who thinks maybe something different? Do you think teachers know everything?
Yes. Say teachers.
Is there anyone who thinks teachers don't know everything?
Yes.
Now I'm still genuinely surprised and delighted by some of the ideas that the children have and how they make me go away thinking, you know, I'd never thought of it from that point of view. And I'm putting something there right in the middle.
A cookie.
Nope. It's there now. Can you see it? Can you hear it? Something in the middle.
A shadow.
A shadow. Oh.
Shadow.
I have put a shadow in the middle.
That's your shadow.
There are always people who will say, how am I going to find time for another thing? How am I going to fit this into a curriculum that's already crowded with content knowledge? And what I say is, well, actually, you're not fitting in an extra thing. You're fitting in a way of teaching. And all you're really doing is approaching what you do in a different way. And can you say thank you?
Thank you for the story.
Not to me. Not to me. To yourselves. To you. Because you're the ones doing the good talking and the good listening and the good ideas and the good drawing. Say thank you to me. Thank you to my friends.
Thank you.